all of that.
Yes, it did work. Okay, so we are recording. So if everybody can go on mute, I will turn over the floor to Maureen.
Thank you, Kat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for my PowerPoint. Okay, can everybody see that? Awesome. Feel free to interrupt me with questions at any time. This isn't super structured, so you're not going to throw me off. My name is Baroness Muireen. I am currently the Baroness of Venus and Fure. We're going to be going over woven insignia for austere and grant level awards. This is the insignia that is given from the crown with the scroll when somebody achieves that award, and it is how they display that they are a member of that order. Most of these are woven and donated by members of the populace, and that is how the kingdom gets them. So it is an important service. This is my contact information. I will be posting this to this whole set of slides to the event page as soon as this class is over, so it can be found there. The first award we're going to go over is the Star of Merit. That is the grant level service award, and there is the pattern for it. It is gold with black borders and has an embroidered black star on the end. Traditionally, it is worn as an arm garter. And the text for what constitutes someone being allowed or being deserving of that award is on the slide. Oh, give me just one moment, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, everyone. I had somebody at the door, and it looks like I already tabbed over when I switched sides or when I got up. So we're going to go over to the next award. The next award is the Iris of Merit. That is the Arts and Sciences grant level award, and this is 6 colors. Not in a traditional rainbow, or in the traditional rainbow order. There are a lot of variations that people have done with this, but this is the current registered for the insignia without the black borders in separating them. I put those in there personally. I think it makes it pop better, but that is artistic license. Here's the pattern and the award text. Once again, this is also usually worn as a garter, but sometimes I've seen it pinned to the shoulder. Most people do shield arm side, whether you're right or left-handed. The next pattern would be for the Order of the Centurions of the Sable Star. That is the Heavy Combat grant level award. That's a polling order. Theirs is gold with red borders, also black star embroidered on the end. The Iris of Merit does not have any embroidery on it. These I usually recommend making a little bit longer. Heavy fighters got those muscular biceps, you know, so they might need a little bit more length than others do. I would also maybe recommend making them out of a wider yarn than the size 10 crochet cotton, so it's a little bit more durable because they will fight in them. Most irises or stars of merit will not fight in there. If they do fight, they will not fight with their regalia on, or with that regalia on. The centurions will fight with their fighting regalia on. The Order of the Arc d'Or is the missile weapons grant level order. That is 3 colors. It's white, black, gold, black, white. And that one also does not have any embroidery. That is the order that involves siege, thrown weapons, and archery together. And then we have the Order of the Golden Lance, which is the equestrian grant level order. Theirs is the reverse of the Star of Merit. So it's a black background with gold borders, and it has a lance embroidered on the end. Then the Blade of Merit, which is the rapier and or cut and thrust grant level order. And it is black, gold, red, gold, black. It does not have any embroidery on it. Same caveats as the Centurion insignia. They will probably fight in them. They might need it to be a little bit longer. But I don't think rapier insignia will take as much wear and tear as armored combat insignia will. Here are some resources. This is the link to the Insignia Inventory, which currently, since COVID has been happening, is not up to date. But ordinarily, if you click on it, it will take you to, let me just see if it'll let me do that. Okay, here. This is what the current stock is of all the insignia that the kingdom has, or what it would be if it was up to date. This is how many scrolls they have, how many of the insignia they have, and if there is secondary insignia, it would be listed here. And this is just letting you know how much the kingdom has of it so you can know whether or not they need it. So if you're looking for something to weave, you can usually pick, if you're undecided on what your pattern should be, from here. Since it's not up to date, I do know right now that they are lacking stars of merit. I have spoken to the Kingdom Insignia Deputy, and they are pretty low on those. So that would be a good one to do. They would probably also could use some of the Blade of Merits because it's new. So they probably don't have as much of a build-up stock. Okay, let's go back to
Cincy, I do know from Star Principal Herald that they're updating the insignia information on the website, because they're going to be turning their website into a WordPress website. So they're trying to update all the documentation for all the awards and orders, and even they'll be updating that inventory of insignia. It's coming. They're working on it right now.
Awesome. Good to know. So we'll have an updated list soon of what the kingdom has so we can figure out what they need.
Yeah.
Here is the email address for the insignia deputy so that anyone who makes insignia can coordinate with them to deliver it. Here is the list of kingdom awards so that if you want to look at any of the other awards that are not woven insignia that involve pendant insignia or other, that'll give you that list. It also links you to the award recommendation form. It's on the same page, just in case you know anyone that you feel is deserving of an award. And this is the pattern generator that I produce those patterns with. It's a really useful tool if you weave, inkle a lot. It basically lets you input how many threads you want to do, and I usually go by 50 as an inch, and then you can plug and play your colors there, and it'll give you at the bottom how you should warp your loom. So it's really useful. And the link's right there. Also, as another note, there's plenty of room for personalization and creativity and adding your own personal touch, or for the person, if you're making it for a specific person within Insignia. However, it needs to still, from a distance, be identifiable. I've seen lots of Insignia with really neat irises are the ones that get personalized the most, they seem to be, because as long as the colors are there in the right order, it still is visibly an iris. But I've seen them done in ram's horn patterns or in diamond shapes or on black backgrounds. In the other insignias, monochromatic designs are really popular. So for a Star of Merit, you'd have your black border and then the gold base, but with maybe a bright yellow design in the middle, or an orange design, something that's off enough to be noticeable, but not off enough to fully detract from the original pattern. And that'll give you some room where, for a lot of different things, I've seen, I think Sir Cassius has his motto woven into his Star of Merit. I could be wrong. That could be one of his garters or something else, but he has his motto woven into one of his insignias, and it's really gorgeous, but unless you're right up on it, you can't see it. But it's really pretty. But those embellishments and artistic licenses are totally allowed. You just gotta keep it close to the original appearance. And that's all I've got for the slides, so I'm going to stop sharing. Where do I? There we go. Oh, thank you, Tamara. I have not heard that rumor.
From what I understand, it's based on the domain and the cost of the domain and whether or not they're going to get any more donations. If you notice on the website, it's got a PayPal button.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, they weren't getting any donations. And the person who is running the domain said that whenever the money ran out, they were no longer going to re-up the website. And so that particular pattern generator would not be available if that happens.
Good to know.
There is another pattern generator going around. I think it's called Racketress. I'll have to get onto my ankle weaving group and get that information, but there is another free pattern generator website.
Okay, I would appreciate you sharing with me.
Okay.
That, if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if those do happen to not work, there are other ways to draw out patterns. I've seen people use graph paper, Excel spreadsheets. Those kinds of things are really useful. Personally, my hands don't do the art thing, so I can't draw what's in my head, but I can make the computer do it in lots of different ways. I have a double face weaving class where I basically teach people how to use the computer to make the patterns for them. It's kind of cheating, but that's the only way I can get it to work. But that's more of an arts class, and this is more of a service environment. So donating your art is a service. That's kind of my little workaround for getting this class to pass. But donating Kingdom Insignia is really important. It does allow the Kingdom to have insignia to give when they give out an award. Sometimes people will pass down insignia, so then it's not necessary, but then that person just gave up their insignia. Or some people will commission like a specific style they want, but not everybody has the ability to do that. So, does anyone have any questions? I have a box of insignia over here that most of it I've woven that I can show off. Here is some iris. This I did not weave. This was given to me to turn into garters at some point by someone who wove it and then did not know how to turn it into a garter at the end. And I have yet to finish that task, but.
So that's actually something I was going to ask you about. So once you take it off the loom, what do you do with it to make it actually be wearable?
Well,
garters?
I'll usually cut it into 20-inch pieces, and then I'll fold over an end over a pair of double D rings, and depending upon how thick it is, I'll run it through the sewing machine to just secure it, and then I'll secure the other end the same way. I've seen people braid the ends, but or braid the end that doesn't have the D rings. If it's a particularly thick card woven part, I'll hand sew it together because my sewing machine does not appreciate 2 layers of card weaving. It's just
So
not.
do you do most of yours just straight weaving, not card weaving, or would it?
It depends on what it is. If it's a centurion or other fighting grade level, I'll card weave it just because it's thicker, it's more durable. I'll card weave that. If I'm wanting to do something in a pattern, like the ram's horn for an iris or something like that, that's going to make it a little bit different, that has to be card woven. Inkle really just gives you straight. I could do pickup. Pickup could give you variation. Pickup makes me an angry person, but pickup can give you variation. Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, pickup is an option if you wanted to still do inkle, but here's some that have the D rings on them. If I can get them untied, okay. You can see there. This is not one of the Kingdom Awards. This is one of Vias and Veers Baronial Awards. This is our spark for our youth who are exemplary, which is why it's so little. Actually, I should probably weave some longer ones of these. We've got some teenagers who were given sparks when they were little who are probably outgrowing them by now. I mean, my son was the premier spark and he's my size now. So,
Dang.
By the way, Kat, he's taller than you now. I've only got half an inch on him.
I'm not surprised. G is right there too. And every time she comes anywhere near me, she like walks up and kind of tries to measure herself against me. I'm like, I know what you're doing, kid.
Yeah.
Well, I just my aforementioned sibling who's in the SCA, who goes by Hu Zhen, is almost 20, and I'm not even 14. I'm taller than her. She's almost in her 20s.
And that happens sometimes, but
Yeah, genetics are weird.
yeah. There's another method of where you can lock the threads, or you can lock the weaving by weaving it backwards. That'll allow you to just have fringe hanging at the bottom here, but that's a little bit harder to do once it's already woven. So if you get a bunch that's just like this, you kind of have to cut and then sew.
Your Excellency, have you ever seen Mistress Delphina's hours of merit she made? She did it in bobbin lace, and it looks cool.
I have not seen hers.
Really interesting.
some really gorgeous insignia is I'm blanking on her name. She was recently laureled. Starts with an A. She's from the South. She does silk, monochrome silk.
I know who you're talking about, but I cannot remember the name.
Yeah, me either. I'm blanking too.
I'm gonna Facebook it because her stuff, the insignia she does is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Aelfwyn. Aelfwyn.
Oh, okay.
It's just Aelfwyn stuff. She does, since she's doing silk, and the way she weaves it, I can't fully explain it because it's not something I fully understand yet. I've taken her class on it, but I have yet to actually attempt it in person, so I don't fully understand it. But it has something to do with the way the silk twists, that she's weaving with all the same color silk, but something to do with the way it twists when she turns the cards changes the way the light hits it at certain angles, and you can see a pattern in it. So she can make the twists make a design, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If you're in a room with like dark lighting, you can't tell that there's anything on it. But as soon as someone steps out into the sun or turns on a bright light, it's like boom. And she's done a lot of really gorgeous insignia that way. But there's a lot of variation in insignia and a lot of really pretty stuff. I did do a pickup iris on a black background where the colors were the pickup part. Possibly Kara, but I'm not sure how she does it exactly. I'd have to look through the handout again. But I did the black background with the picked up rainbow colors for the insignia for Baroness Bronislava when she got her iris, because she felt like the colors of the iris insignia were a little bit too bold for her personality and she wanted something more subdued. So she calls it her death metal iris, which makes me happy. I mean, it's not really my thing, but I'm glad that it makes her so excited. So there's a lot of room for creativity. If you're donating it to the kingdom and you're not really sure who's going to get it, I would say be a little more careful as to be sure that it's from a distance, like 10 feet, looks like the award it's supposed to be. But if you're doing it for an individual, like say someone in your household or your family or your barony is getting an award, you have a lot more wiggle room. Yeah. I think that's all I've got though, unless anybody has any more questions.
Actually, I have a question. How are we supposed to tie these? Just FYI.
To tie them, what do you mean tie?
Like just the award things.
The whole band itself?
Yeah, just.
It's for
And
a
how are you
technique
supposed
called
to
inkle
wear
weaving,
them?
you would need an inkle loom. There's lots of classes on YouTube. I'll probably teach a class once we're in person again on how to weave inkle in general. That's not really something I'm comfortable teaching online. It's one of those physical arts that can be a little bit difficult to teach online because everyone is different. But there's lots of classes on YouTube on how to build looms and how to inkle weave. But once we're in person again, I will probably teach a couple classes on that.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for teaching. I really appreciate it. And it's awesome to have the patterns because we can use those and get some stuff made.
Also, those slides are also on the Scribble website for the kingdom. I'm not sure exactly where, but I think it's on the Insignia page at the top so that anybody can get those patterns at any time. I've given the webmaster permission to publish that, and it updates as I change it because it's a link to the Google Slides. So if I edit it later, it will automatically update there.
Cool. Awesome.
Hopefully they'll move that when they create the new website. If they don't, that's fine. And like I said, I'll put it in the event page as well for easy navigation.
Sounds good. All right. Did anybody have any questions before we let everybody go? No? All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of your evening, and we will talk to everybody soon. I'll get the video posted later this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.